The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
You know, we have Tom from Tampa on the phone. Hey, Tom. Good morning. It's bright and early now, huh?
Hey, Paige. Good. How you guys doing, Nico?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, your newsletter's outstanding, man. I'm telling you, man, it is outstanding. And so is the Primal Edge. I love that stuff. I'd never be without it. I mean, I've been on it now 3-4 months, man. I mean, it's just, I can't get over how good I feel.
Primal Edge is, people are raving about it. People who are trying it, they know because you can feel it.
Would not be without it.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico de Haan and Paige Clarke.
Well, good morning and welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle. I'm Paige Clarke, and this is where we explore a return to a more balanced, natural, and wild world.
That's right, Paige, to recover our natural health and regain our rights and freedoms. And I'm Nico de Haan.
It's a beautiful day in downtown sparkling Clearwater, 69 degrees. Hope you're having some nice weather where you're at, and we'd love to make sure you pick up our Health Signals newsletter. You heard on the announcement our newsletter is outstanding. You get it twice a month for $10 a month with clickable links to all the good stuff that Nico and I peruse all week to put together great shows for you.
That's right, and also pick up our Primal Edge, our one-shot wonder, over 310 organic cell-ready ingredients here, liquid ingredients, so it's easy to take, and it gets the good stuff in.
It helps get the bad stuff out with nature's miracle molecule, fulvic and humic acid.
That's right, and we're taking your phone calls at 877-927-6648 if you're up and about.
That's right. Give us a call. We'd love to hear what you have on your mind. I've had this on my mind for quite some time, as you can tell from the glasses that I wear. And I'm really concerned about our exposure to artificial light. Mm-hmm. And the sun has come up since we have arrived, because we're early birds here, but so you and I are both getting our first exposure to this very bright light, and you know, once the sun's up, I'm not always wearing these glasses, but I like to make sure the first light that hits my eyes really is the sun, and we can't do it on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so here we are.
The warmth of the sun.
That's right, with the full spectrum. But we're going to talk about how LED lighting may be compromising your health, and this has a lot to do with the fact that you do not have full spectrum with LED light. It's removing some of the natural spectrums.
Yeah, the healing spectrums is, of course, what we often talk about in the sauna for the red light, the yellow light, the stuff that comes from the sun. We have a full spectrum, and we feel that warmth and the heat. And that warmth and the heat is actually the type of light that's really good for us. So when we think about fires, when we think about candles, when we think about incandescent lighting that we used to have all the time, these are all nice warm. They have a warm glow. When you touch the bulb, there's heat there.
Exactly.
And this is a very healthy thing for us.
And don't get me wrong, these other spectrums, we need some of the blue and the green and so forth that we get at noon, but that's exactly it. When you have those type of spectrums in isolation, that's what you're telling your brain, that it's noon. And you don't want your brain to think it's noon at midnight while you're surfing the web on your computer screen with your LED screen. That's right. So let's go on into this. And can light affect your health? Well, it sure does. In fact, I say light is health. And in this information we're going to be sharing with you, we're going to share some information from a Dr. Alexander Wunsk, a world expert on photobiology, or the living light, and he shares the hidden dangers of light-emitting diodes, which is LED lighting that most people are completely unaware of. And in fact, this could potentially be one of the most important videos that you may hear, as LED lights have enormous impacts not only for preventing blindness as you age, but LEDs are also a pervasive hidden risk factor that sabotage your health.
Yeah, the thing about LED lighting that is detrimental to us, it has that cool blue light and none of the spectrum of the healing light.
Yeah.
So we're getting kind of an irritation. You know, lights flicker.
That's a great way to say it. The flicker rate, exactly.
Yeah, the flicker rate. And the flicker rate, of course, is because the alternate current that we're using, which is also kind of backwards because we should be really using DC, which is direct
we run
current.
our electrical bodies are DC currents,
Right, and the natural Earth is a DC unit. So alternate current, the reason they use alternate current, from my recollection, is because it's easier to track. So it has a monetary way about it, where direct current is a little bit harder. Of course, now with batteries and things like that, it's getting a little bit easier to track.
So it really was energy efficient initiatives that caused this major transition to LED light.
Yeah, because it's cheaper.
Yeah, as our
and it
primary
lasts
light
forever.
source. Yeah.
And they're indestructible. When you put this little diode in a nice case, you can run a truck over it, and you know, it's not damaged at all. It'll keep lighting, and there's a real pull for this because it's nice, clear light. In cars, it looks really cool.
Oh yeah, everyone says, "Oh, I like my nice bright lights," but
Yeah.
really these. When you're driving at night and you're being hit by these new headlights, it's not a good thing.
That's right.
Here's a comment, this strong statement. LED lighting may actually be one of the most detrimental non-native EMF radiation sources you're exposed to on a daily basis, which can have very serious long-term health consequences. And this ongoing exposure is what may be causing this dramatic increase we've seen in eye diseases such as age-related macular degeneration. It's the leading cause of blindness, and we're seeing that in the U.S. and elsewhere, this has really been on the rise.
Yeah, it sure has. And of course, there's a mandate in certain states, and I think federally, that we want to get rid of the old lights and use LEDs everywhere.
Well, it comes right back to it, Nico, that these macular degeneration and other health problems and chronic disease, as we know, is really rooted in mitochondrial dysfunction. And we've been sharing with you all the information that we really have two DNA sequences in our body. We have our nuclear DNA that we get from mom and dad, and then we have our mitochondrial DNA that we get just from mom alone. Very fascinating. I was listening to the Longevity Project podcast. We're going to share a clip when we come back from this break. I want you all to jump on that bandwagon and watch this free series. Fascinating. All my peoples are there. You know, all the speakers are people that I've met or that I follow. And so I think there's going to be a lot of good information in this series. But we're going to talk more when we get back from the break, too. We're going to go down this a little bit because I think it's important that people understand more about the importance of light.
Well, especially since there's such a pull to get this done. You know, everybody's saying, and they're expensive to begin with, but they do last a long time. So I can understand it. Also, it's a lot cheaper to run these lights than it is the normal lights. So, you know, the energy companies are pushing this, and I think it's a two-folded thing. I think I haven't noticed my bill going down.
You know, I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah, here we're using cheaper. Yeah, it's kind of a scam.
I think it's crap. I just don't believe it. I don't think that we're seeing it. Nobody's really seeing their power bills go down. In fact, you know, with this rollout of the smart meters, most people are experiencing a dramatic increase in their bills.
Well, because the rates are going up. That's for sure, especially here in Florida. I mean, Duke Energy, that project that they scrapped, we have to pay for that. That's a whole plant out there that's supposed to be this fancy thing. Well, we couldn't get it online, so we're going to scrap it now. Now it takes 20 years to scrap it with all that money, and we're still paying for the light we're receiving and paying for the light we're not receiving.
Okay, when we get back, we're going to talk about what is light. You know, what is visible light, and there's a lot of light that's in the non-visible spectrum. But when we come back, we're going to play a little video from the Longevity Project. Make sure you look that up and follow that. It's going to be a great series. It's no charge if you get on it while it's starting. I think we're only on day 2. Okay, be right back.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, Life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
We're seeing an explosion of chronic illness now in children.
Autoimmune disease, chronic disease, and really just degeneration of the cells overall.
We're living such short lifespans relative to what's possible for humans to live.
I think one of the scariest things when people are surveyed is that they would have some sort of a neurological decline, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, dementia, because you literally lose yourself.
We have more scientists, more doctors, more therapists, more gyms, more chiropractors, more osteopaths, and more nutritionists per capita than we've ever had, and we're the sickest people we've ever been.
We've tried to basically separate ourselves from nature, and that was one of the biggest mistakes that we've made as a species.
We have an environmental toxin crisis, which is truly like species-ending proportions now.
And quite honestly, I don't think we understand the breadth of these different toxins and what they're actually doing in our bodies.
Glyphosate is everywhere in our environment. It's been found in various cotton products. It's been found in vaccines. It's all over the food supply.
If digestion isn't functional, we can be eating the best diet ever and still be malnourished.
Each minor decision that we make along the way, those little decisions actually contribute to the health of the child as it's growing up.
We have to have a new model. We have to develop another way.
There are these pockets of people that are supporting each other, that know each other's families, that have each other's backs.
And if we go study these people before they're gone, we've got a good chance of really setting the tone for the future.
Their paradigm is if you have that relationship with the natural world and with plants, you won't get disease.
80% is driven by lifestyle, whether people know it or not.
Most people are always stuck in this sympathetic, quick-acting environment, and they really need to just go outside and go for a walk.
I think our job is to enjoy life.
You want to actually listen to your body and say, what do you need right now?
And what I tell patients all the time and encourage doctors is teach your patients how to feed their microbiome.
And be more comfortable with kids rolling around in the dirt and playing with cats and dogs and horses and anything that they can play with, because it clearly has benefit.
Living longer won't make you happy, but being happy will allow you to live longer.
So I hope you guys will take a moment and subscribe to see that great series that's going on. They're only on day 2, so get on the bandwagon with
And the
that.
name of it is the Longevity.
The Human
right?
Longevity Project.
Yep.
Yes.
And it involves a lot more than light that we're talking about today, but you know, this is just another insult that we have.
Exactly.
And it's being laid upon us, a lot of advertising about it, a lot of promotion about it, and people are buying these things and putting in their home. Now, my suggestion would be that if you want to be healthy, you're going to get rid of these things. But of course, you've got a big investment in it. Now, what you can do is take half of those bulbs out and right beside it put it in an incandescent bulb, so you're getting the full spectrum at the same time.
That's a great tip.
So you're not really wasting the money, so you can still use these things. Maybe put them in a corner where you're not looking as much. Definitely you can use them outside because, you know, we come in and out, and it won't be that bad. But if you've got a back porch that you're frequenting, maybe put the incandescent in there. So, you know, and of course this is mandated for all cars, so we're going to see this stuff on cars. And my hope is that the technology will rebound and they'll figure out that this is not really healthy for us, and that somehow they're going to put that full spectrum back or make it less irritating by, you know, in cars at least what you have is direct current. So the flickering is not as bad in the cars as it is in the AC.
So here we say physicists think that infrared radiation is just thermal waste. So this is where the disconnect comes in.
Right.
So, you know, many times we think things that are an improvement are actually detrimental to our health. But from the viewpoint of a physician, this is absolutely not true. And in the last 30 years, there have been hundreds of scientific papers published on the beneficial aspects of certain parts of the spectrum, that they're leaving out of these LED Franken lights, and that is the near-infrared or infrared A. And many of our listeners have learned a lot about this when we've had Robbie Bessner on here, who is a leader in infrared technology. So what makes near-infrared so special? You cannot feel near-infrared as heat, and you cannot even see it. If you look at a near-infrared bulb, it just looks like a burnout bulb. But it has a major beneficial impact in terms of health. Near and far infrared is what's missing in non-thermal artificial light sources like LED. Yeah. And, you know, there's a big difference between analog and digital forms of light sources, and this difference is another part of the complexity. In essence, there are two separate but related issues, the analog versus digital light source problem and the spectral wavelength difference. Didn't realize that. That's an interesting point.
Yeah. There is a chart here that I put up, and this line right here is the incandescent light that we're used to, and the fluorescent, which came earlier back in the 60s, is this green line, and the LED is this blue line here. And you can see that the wavelength that we really need is this area right here.
Which we're not getting,
Yeah, above 500 nanometers, maybe even over 600.
Around 620 is where it really kind of drops off,
So this is the area that we really want to be, and this is natural. This is the light from the sun, of course, has this full spectrum, but we feel the heat, and the heat is all in this area right here. There's no heat in the cool ones. A lot of people are complaining on their cars up north when it snows. There's not enough heat to melt the snow off the headlights.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, so we know near-infrared is critical for mitochondrial and eye health. We talked about that earlier. And it helps prime the cells in your retina for repair and to regenerate. And as I've been sharing with you, you know, our eyes are not just cameras for us to see. They are clocks to measure time. And so our body will get the important signaling to release certain hormones at certain times of the day. And since LEDs have virtually no infrared and an excess of the blue light, that generates reactive oxygen species, which are another word for free radicals. And this explains why LEDs are so harmful for your eyes and your overall health.
Yeah. The other part of it, of course, this affects your ATP, which is the fuel for your cells.
Our fuel, right?
Yeah. So
ATP is the fuel your cells need for all your body's functions. And while you can survive for several minutes without oxygen, where all ATP production stops, you'll die within 15 seconds. So, and I learned from this series that I just shared with everyone that truly the ATP production is so critical, and the chronic diseases we're seeing today are not nuclear diseases. They're not DNA determined by our nuclear DNA. They're from our mitochondria. They're worn out mitochondria. Yeah. Mitochondria that have lost their energy sources. So, and lighting plays an important role in this energy production. So let's make sure that we get a broad spectrum, full spectrum of light, and the best way to do that is to get into nature.
Yeah, of course, this has a lot to do with aging and how we look, and the incandescent light has been very friendly to our aging bodies, while this LED light is going to wreak havoc on it, and it's going to show wrinkles earlier. So if you're really concerned about the way you look, this is another way you can get the light back into your home and get that nice warm glow back.
That's right, and we're going to take a break, and we'll get back and share some more information, important healing benefits, wound healing and anti-aging that you can use when you use the full spectrum near and far infrared.
That's right. We'll be right back, folks.
We'd like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live, and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. And I say, it's all right.
And that's that's our production manager there with the right tune at the right time, that's for sure. So the key take-home message here is that your body's energy production involves not just food intake. You also need exposure from certain wavelengths of light in order for your metabolism to function optimally.
Bingo.
So this is the reason why we need sun exposure. But let's go over the difference between analog and digital lighting.
I think that's important. I think we've always thought that there was just a wavelength to the light. But I want to share this with our listeners that there is analog and digital. So just to clarify, LED lamps are a form of digital, non-thermal lighting, whereas incandescent, which I love for indoor lighting, incandescent light bulbs and halogens are analog thermal light sources. They put off heat.
That's right. That's the real difference between the two. It's not just the blue light, but it's the actual function of receiving heat from the source of energy. Not just light.
So in explaining these, the dimming of LED is realized by a so-called pulse width modulation, which means the LEDs switch on to the full intensity and then they switch fully off and then they switch back on again. This is called flicker, which is not perceivable for, say, let's say 90% of the population. We don't perceive this flickering, but boy, it's actually playing havoc on our health.
Some people do feel it.
Yes, but it's still biologically active, and flicker is something that is very harmful to your biology. And, you know, you may have experienced this if you're old enough, like we are, to recall the older TVs that had a very visible and intense flicker.
Yeah, especially with the test pattern on. Remember when the TV used to go out at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock at night, this test pattern was on there. We're just testing things, and that thing would really flicker.
Yeah, but modern flat screens don't have this perceptible flicker, but they are still switching on and off. And scientists are now trying to develop systems capable of transmitting information via high-frequency flicker in the LED lighting to replace the wireless LAN system. And according to this Dr. Wunsch, this is a very, very bad idea from a health perspective. Can we share that point he makes?
Well, he says that the LED lights are kind of like Trojan horses because they appear very practical and useful to us. They appear to have so many advantages. They save energy, they're solid state, they're very robust, so we invite them into our homes. But we're not aware that they have many health-robbing properties which are harmful to our biology, harmful to our mental health, and harmful to our retinal health, and also harmful to our hormones and
endocrine system. Yeah, exactly. And that's what we've been saying. Our chronobiology, our circadian rhythm is the song that our hormones swing to.
That's very cool.
That's exactly
I like
it.
That, yeah.
So unfortunately, the use of LED lights has been mandated by the federal policy. Now, you know, what are they thinking? You'd think they knew something that we didn't. You know, is this good for business? Is this good for health business to mandate the use of these toxic lights?
Well, it's good for business, but not good for health boobs.
Yeah.
There you go. So
well, what I'm saying is it's good for their business because when people get these stealth illnesses, they end up in the doctors, they end up on the prescription drugs, you know, and I know they keep saying it's an attempt to conserve energy, but that's a whole nother ball of wax that I don't believe we have an energy crisis. I think we have peak water. I think we have lots of energy, free energy, if they just let us have it. You know?
Well, it's definitely not free, that's for sure. But I see this as maybe there is a hidden agenda there, but I see it as them, you know, saying, hey, this is a way for us to raise our prices kind of stealthily. You're going to save money by buying these bulbs, but slowly but surely every year your bill's going to go up anyway, or at least stay even. And that appears to me that's happening. And I don't really care what the reasons are. The thing for me is always concerned about my health, so I'm going to do the things that I know are going to be good for me. So
let's
you get
go
rid
into
of
that,
these lights.
understanding the dangers of
That's
LEDs.
right.
We want you to understand the dangers, and then we're going to help you find solutions. And so when you understand that LEDs can harm your health with the recognition that these lights emit from the LED light bulb is a different quality than a natural light source, as we've said.
Right.
And normally a natural light source is a black body radiator that gives off all kinds of wavelengths in a more or less continuous waveform. But LEDs are fluorescent lamps, consist of a blue LED, a driver LED, and a fluorescent sheet that covers the blue LED, transforming part of this blue light into longer wavelengths, thereby creating a yellowish light. And the yellowish light from the fluorescent layer combines together with the residual blue light to a kind of whitish light, and a large portion of which is a very aggressive blue light.
Yeah. Now is a good time to stock up on incandescent lighting, and don't buy the ones with the white around it. Buy the clear ones. Those are really the best ones. They produce the most heat. So now is the time to stock up on this. Now, if you were around in the 50s and 60s when I was with Ma Bell, we used to go to the electric company and get light bulbs for free. We give them our old bulbs, and they give us free bulbs.
Wow.
And they were always these clear, nice bulbs, and they last a long time. Slowly but surely, they started to charge for it, and then the whole thing changed. And, you know, this was just part of what the electric company used to do for us. You know, those days are gone now. So.
Well, let's go into talking. We just said that this LED is a blue light, and the author says, blue has the highest energy in the visible part of the spectrum and produces and fuses the production of reactive oxygen species, or free radicals.
Yep.
The blue light causes this in your tissue, and this stress needs to be balanced with near infrared. This reminds me how Robbie explains it. That is not present. So in other words, if you get exposure to blue light, like we want to at noon, it's a great time to get your vitamin D and so forth, get the full spectrum sun, but it is heavier in the blue and green at that time. But you got to balance it with the exposure to the other ones. The blue light causes the free radicals, and this stress needs to be balanced with your red that is not present in the LEDs. We need even more regeneration from blue light, but the regenerative part of this spectrum is not found in the blue. In the short wavelength part, it's found in the long wavelength part in the red and the near infrared. So tissue regeneration and tissue repair results from the wavelengths that are not present in an LED spectrum.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the omega-3 battle, where you're getting your omega-3 from animal food, really good, easy to digest. You're getting omega-3 from now a plant, and your body has to go through an extra step or two to process that. Very hard to process, so not as healthy for you. This is kind of the thing that it reminds me of. It's you know, we still need that. So this is why, if you can go into your home and take some of those LEDs out, put incandescent near it, you've got the full spectrum
and
there.
if you haven't bought them, then just don't even buy them.
No.
So you probably know by now that the blue light in the evening reduces melatonin production. Melatonin is a natural antioxidant that protects us, puts us into rest and repair. And but you also have cells in your retina that are responsible for producing melatonin in order to regenerate the retina during the night. And I've shared with you, when do these cells do this? These cells in your retina are active first thing in the morning when you look at the sun. It is important to get that early morning sun. That's when you actually make the melatonin that gets released at night.
Sure.
That's a pearl right there, guys. That's a pearl.
Well, this is the ancient thing about looking east. You know, if you're going to pray, you're going to look east.
Well, there was a reason they were looking east.
Yeah,
They were getting those sides. Someone says we must rewild, folks, and stop listening to the propaganda machine. Yep, there you go. Blue light and health, and yeah, you guys, we'll talk about this when we get back. Take a short break.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, oil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated folic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. Are you an options trader that's looking for that extra edge when placing trades? David White will be hosting a webinar on May 16th, which is the Wednesday leading up to Options Expiration Friday in May, where he'll discuss in depth the methodology he uses for trading options near expiration, including swing trading setups and expiration day trading scenarios. Subscribers to each of Dave's newsletters, Path of Least Resistance and the Technology Insider, gain access to this 60-minute webinar, which will be archived if you cannot attend live. Dave has had some great option trades recently for his subscribers. See for yourself the trading methodology he uses when trading options by signing up today for either of his newsletters, and we'll see you Wednesday, May 16th at 5 p.m. for option trading near expiration, analyzing swing trades and expiration day scenarios. For all the details and to sign up today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
So Nico and I are talking about those dangerous LED lights. So if you use LED lights after sunset, you reduce the regenerative and restoring capability of your eyes. And needless to say, with less regeneration, you end up with degeneration, leading diseases such as macular degeneration and many other chronic diseases that happen when our body clocks are off. So maybe we want to switch to giving them some ideas of how to identify a healthier LED.
Yeah, so when you're buying LEDs, one way is to get a healthier light is to look at the CRI. Sunlight is the gold standard. It has a CRI of 100. So do incandescent lights and candles. What we're looking for is a light that has a R9, full red spectrum, CRI of 97, which is the closest you ever get to natural light with an LED. Another factor to look for is a color temperature. There are two different kinds of color temperature. One is a physical color temperature, which means the temperature of a light is in degrees Kelvin, with a K. This applies to sunlight, candlelight, incandescent lights, and halogens. What this means is that the source itself is as hot to the touch as the cool temperature given. The sun, for example, which has a color temperature of 5,500 kelvins, has a temperature of 5,500 K at its surface when you actually touch the sun, of course, which we can't do. Incandescent light has a maximum of 3,000 K, as the filament would melt if the temperature would go any higher.
Well, so the key is that if you are going to buy incandescents, and they're making it, LED lights, they're making it very hard to find incandescent light bulbs. They're not as plentiful at your home store.
In fact, I had somebody say on a podcast the other day that you have to go almost to a novelty store now to find them. So if you go into the section of novelty lighting in your store, you'll probably find the incandescents there. All the colored lights. So the little red lights and everything like that, they're all incandescent lights.
That's probably a good idea to buy red lights, because think about it, folks. After that sun goes down, most of my mitochondriac friends that I went to Mexico with, they've all changed out their light bulbs in their house. Most of their houses are either dark, candlelit, or they have red bulbs. Someone says, yeah, someone is commenting, that's correct, Paige. Yep, exactly. So, the whole idea, folks, is to create an environment that's healthier for our eyes, full spectrum lighting, and realize that our primitive ancestors didn't have all these light bulbs in every room. They maybe walked with a candle or a fire torch, right?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with that if you're used to dark, you can see a little bit better in the dark. So it takes your eyes a while to adjust. I remember being with a buddy up in northern Indiana for a week, and he was living out there in the boonies and didn't have any lights, and at night we would go for walks, and by the end of the week it was much easier for me, even without the moon being out, for me to see. It took me maybe 3 or 4 minutes to adjust, but in the beginning it was very hard. But once you get used to it, you see more and more.
And that's the key. Here's interesting, guys, healthier solutions. And, you know, this is a comment from Dr. Mercola. And even smart guys like Dr. Mercola sometimes make these mistakes. Listen to this. He says, I like being on the cutting edge of technology, and I quickly switched out all my incandescent bulbs for LED lighting. See, sometimes we want to be so early adapters, we make mistakes. He goes, I now realize the enormity of my mistake. But at the time, going back almost 10 years now, I was completely unaware that it could have health consequences. For that, I used full spectrum fluorescence, which is equally deceptive as it is a full spectrum in name only. He says he's now convinced LED light exposure is a very serious danger, especially if you're in a room without natural light. One of the things that I love in my home is that I have a lot of windows. I mean, so a lot of natural light, of course, once it goes down. So we really don't have to turn on lamps at all during the day. We have a lot of window light. And the biological risks are somewhat mitigated if you have plenty of sunlight streaming through windows. At night, LEDs become a great danger if you're in a windowless room or not. So, you know, we want to get back to swapping your lights back to incandescent. Like Nico said, maybe this is a good thing to start to stock up on.
I think so.
You know,
you're not going to find them sooner or later.
When I first learned about this, there was a website that had industrial lighting, and you could get these in bulk.
Oh, really?
And I think that I'm going to go back and look for that
Yeah,
site.
send me a link to that. Because
Well, if I can find it. This was quite a few years ago.
Yeah.
He says, personally, I've not swapped all my lights back to incandescents because they're such energy hogs, but all the lights I have on at night have been switched to clear incandescent bulbs without any coating that changes their beneficial wavelengths. So the take-home message is to grab a supply of the old incandescents if you can and switch back to them and explore your natural lighting options. You know, maybe put together, I've been thinking about, you know, getting a campfire, you know, like a pit.
Yes.
You know, it's about the size of this table here. And just sitting out there at night.
Yeah.
And
that's what we used to do.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what we used to do, and I think that's a great idea.
And it's always a good feeling.
Get away from that old LED big screen TV.
When my wife had annual parties years ago, we used to have the pit would come out, and no matter how cold it was, it didn't really matter. It's just nice to have that, and you know, we'd sing around the campfire and things like that. It's always good memories.
And you know, there's other healthy lighting alternatives. I mean, candles are even better light source than incandescent bulbs. The candle is the natural light. There's no electricity involved. You don't spend money. I mean, there's no better savings than candles. Maybe we should start a candle revolution, you know?
I love candles.
And these are the lights our ancestors have used for many millennia, and everyone looks more attractive in candlelight. I'm sorry, I do think. Our bodies are already adapted to the light they produce. The only problem is you need to be careful about using just any candle, as most commercially produced candles produce poisonous toxins. They're chemical soups, especially a lot of these flavored ones, you know, or scented candles.
Also, we get used to maybe reading by candlelight. I have a friend of mine in Orlando, Lucian, that years ago said, you know, and this was before even we were talking about LEDs. This was probably 10 years ago. He says, you know, my eyes just feel a lot better if I'm reading a book at night. And he's the one that took all his TVs out 10 years ago. He says, my kids are not growing up with TVs. He says, they're growing up with me.
Oh, I like that comment. That's a strong daddy comment.
Yeah,
my kids aren't growing up with TV, they're growing up with me. How cool is that?
So he switched, and he says, it's just a natural. He says, this is how we evolved. He says, for hundreds and hundreds of years, anything we did was by a fire or by candlelight.
Yeah, and you know, we were talking about the toxicity of candles, guys. You know, these, many of the paraffin, they have a lot of toxins. They're petroleum-based products. You have your soy candles. Well, you know, we have a lot of GMO soy. You may not want to have those, so look for a non-GMO soy. But you may also want to look at Himalayan crystal salt lamps.
Yeah, that's what we have in our house. Every room has one.
And you can buy the little red bulbs.
And ours are on all the time, so we keep them on. They're kind of a pain because those little bulbs do burn out in about 3 months, you know, so you have to keep switching that out. But it's a small price to pay, I think. It gives the home a nice atmosphere, and it allows us to kind of detune from the daylight to the nightlight.
Yeah, and the actual lighting is in the perfect red range, and The salted lamps help you balance your artificial frequencies, and they neutralize electromagnetic frequency radiation.
The salt kind of dissolves, so slowly but surely.
The negative ion.
Yeah, it gets a little smaller as you go. You don't really notice it until you stare at it. Well, didn't that used to be bigger?
So you buy the real big chunk.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, we hope that's useful, guys. We're going to have to take a break again.
Yeah, well, that happens. We'll be right back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks.
No matter where you're listening to TFNN programming, you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones, iPads, and Android devices, located in the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and call-in talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.